The problem is all inside his head, I say to you. The answer is easy, search your feelings, you know it's true. I'd like to help you with your struggle to be through. There must be 50 ways to fire Wendig. 50 ways to fire Wendig. Just kick him in the back, Jack. Listen to the fans, man. You don't need that soy boy. Just get yourself free. Kick him off the bus, Gus. Man, I don't give a fuck, Chuck. Just slap him with the DG and set yourself free. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. And as always, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everyone who subscribes, everyone who shares, everyone who likes, everyone who hits the little notification bell. Also, everyone who comments for sure. I love ya. I appreciate you. Now, before I break up out of here, I just have to talk about this story that broke yesterday. It seems that Chuck Wendig, Chucky Boy, has been fired. He's been fired by Marvel, by extension, Disney, Lucasfilm. He won't be bothering anybody anymore on that side of things anyway. And Chuck, you had to know, man. You had to know that you can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Run on for a long time, baby. But sooner or later, God'll cut you down. And that's exactly what happened. Now, Chuck has some feelings about what happened to him. Of course, he's got those sour grapes. So let's see what's going on here. I want to read this real quick. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is on sci-fi.com. All right, and it says here, Chuck Wendig responds to Marvel firing and harassment. Fears for other creators. Oh my God, now they got me like Jesus, he's saying. And this is by, it's by Brian Young. Hi, Brian. All right, so it says here, Chuck Wendig, the gregarious writer behind Star Wars Aftermath trilogy and the recently announced Shadow of Vader comic, announced via Twitter today that he had been fired from Marvel Comics and he would be removed from the Shadow of Vader. I wonder if they're also going to remove Kylo Ren from the Shadow of Vader. That would be a good idea. Seems impossible though. Starting with issue number 4, it would no longer be working on another different Marvel Star Wars projects. Ha, see ya! So they go on to talk about how he's been controversial. Let's get to his tweets. He says here, all right, wait. For as many people who complained about the inclusion he included in his work, of course they're talking about how he had a gay character and all this bullshit he didn't need to do. It says that many, many more have responded positively. And he says, I've had a myriad of people reach out and tell me that they feel seen in a major story world like Star Wars for the first time. Okay. And that it was heartening to me. He said, it doesn't fix that unequal history and pop culture, of course. Dude, you're just a super warrior. You're a force for good, Chuck Wendig. I saw some of the tweets you did, my man. That is not positive. Not positive at all. Cursing at people and everything. You don't want to tell that side of the story. And, excuse me, guys. My voice is breaking. See, this is what happens when you record in the morning. You know what I mean? Because I got the allergies and all that shit working. So anyway, he says, Wendig's brand, so to speak, on Twitter has always been gregarious as it was vulgar. His progressive politics were something that he wore as a badge of honor. More recently, during the very public debate in the Civic Square over the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, what a circus that was, to the Supreme Court, Wendig made a call to eschew civility. There will be renewed calls for civility. Ignore them. They ask for civility as a way for you to grant them complicity in what they do. Civility is for normalcy. When things are normal and working as intended, for example, as I want it and only I want it, civility is part of maintaining balance. But when that balance is gone, civility does not help return it, but rather destabilize it further, because your civility gives them cover for evil. What are you talking about, dude? Balance. What are you balancing? You're balancing opposing views. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're a hypocrite if you think that civility is only for people who agree with you. See, that's your problem. That's where the psychosis sets in, my friend. In the words of James Gunn, you should probably seek help. Note, this isn't the same as calling for violence, but what about kicking someone in the head with shit-covered boots? What about that? You're not talking about that. But it's suggesting that you should not be ashamed for using vigorous, vulgar language, or standing up in disobedience, or demanding acknowledgement and action in whatever way you must. Oh, Chuck Wendig, freedom fighter. But that did not stop those who had already been harassing him over the years to take these tweets as a call to violence against Trump supporters. It was written up in many conservative-leaning blogs that cover comics and nerd culture was an actual call to violence somehow. These tweets were from October 6th. The Shadow of Vader was announced that very same weekend at New York Comic Con. One might wonder if this negative attention in conservative media outlets was what pushed Marvel into taking this self-inflicted wound in the broader culture war. Look, dude, he was acting like a fucking idiot. He was acting like a dick on Twitter, and he was becoming famous for it. After a while, it becomes a liability, and that's what I was talking about. That's probably the reason why Bonehead, Roundhead, Pootie Tang, Ruin Johnson also went and deleted all of those tweets, because even he's smart enough to know that sooner or later that shit catches up with you. You cannot go on arguing with fans and people who have opposing views with you the way that you are and be a public figure and work for a company who's high profile. It's going to catch up with you. It's the same with any of us. I don't get it. It's so hard to understand, Chucky. Oh, and then he goes on in his tweet. But it does set a troubling precedent. One we've seen already. James Gunn, Jessica White, and so on, of folks fired because they riled up the wasp nest of Asterisk Gate. Asterisk, oh my god. Oh, anyway, so yeah, so he's saying that it's not just going to stop with him. He's using James Gunn as an example, and this Jessica White person, you know, that people are just going to be on a witch hunt. Dude, there's codes of conduct, man. You know, it's just that simple. So don't try to make yourself a martyr. You're not. What you are is a bonehead who ran off at the mouth too much in a way that was disagreeable to the people who employ you. I mean, that's all it is, man. That's all it is. Accept it. You'll be okay. And it seems odd, he says, to be mad that I'm mad about politics. Well, look around. Climate change, kids in cages, sexual harassers at the topmost tiers of power, and so on. A call for civility as the POGOB candidate threatens Tom Wolfe with a golf cleat stomping. I don't know, man. Oh boy. If they honestly feel that my presence will damage the book, I don't want that. I want the book to shine, and artists like Juan and Ramirez and Greg Smallwood. Smallwood. Okay, to do their amazing thing. Artists like that are gods in my mind, so I'm happy not to distract from their literal magic. Okay, so anyway, he goes on to make himself a victim, and he has no sense of accountability whatsoever. And that's troubling, because to me, that's setting a precedent. Whatever happened to just taking it, man? It's like you were misbehaving, you were saying things that you ought not be saying in the position that you hold. All right, and the people who employed you said that it wasn't appropriate, so they cut you loose. Now, I think a mature, responsible human being who does have a social media presence would just say, look, you know, I fucked up. You know, that's it. That's it. There's no need to go further into, you know, they got me, now they're going to get the next person and all this stuff. It's like, I can understand if you conducted yourself in a better way with your views, but dude, you were intentionally goading people and mocking them and trolling them, and there has to be some accountability that you hold for that. That's all, you know. So it's not the end of the world. You know, they don't have Chuck Wendig up on a cross, but that would be an interesting sight. But anyway, that's what it is. It just is how it is. So guys, like I said, this is going to be a quick one. It's their right, the same as it was with James Gunn. By the way, you know, James Gunn got hired by Disney. You know, just like I was saying, you get fired from one place, you get hired in, not Disney, he got hired by DC. All right, so you get fired in one place, you get hired in another place. That's just the way the world works. At least that's how it is for those of us in the normal world. So why should it be any different for these people? And I am very interested, by the way, in seeing how James Gunn writes Suicide Squad, you know, especially the character of Harley Quinn, because she is kind of... that is the kind of character it would be interesting to see him write for. Because to me, she was always that kind of, you know, slightly twisted, perverted, maybe even hints of pedo kind of image. You know what I mean? With that little girly thing she has going on. So, I don't know. I'm going to be watching that whole thing. But as for Chuck Wendig, sayonara, my man. I'm glad to see you go. You know, because you were a pain in the ass and you were a jackass. So, hopefully you've learned from this, as every human being should. So anyway, before my voice totally cracks up, you know, I feel like Peter Brady. When it's time to change, you got to rearrange. Anyway, let me get up out of here. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. I'll catch you on the next one. Rock on.